For both of these problems, we're going to write this equation of the line that passes through these points with this given slope, but we're going to use what we call the, not the slope-intercept form, but rather the point-slope form. I've written the point-slope form here. It says y minus the first y that you're given equals m times x minus the first x that you're given. So what we need to do is, to use this form, we need to identify a slope, and then we also need to find a point, x1 and y1. Now look at number 16. So let's write number 16 here. In number 16, we're given this point. All right, I'll write the point. We're given the point 3, 2, and the slope is 3. Right, so we've got the slope, and now what we also need is a point, x1, y1. Well, I've got the x1, y1 right here, right? Here's the x1, right? That's the first x. It's the only x you see. And here's the y1. It's the only y you see. So let's substitute these values into this template right here. I'm going to circle this template. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to write y minus y1, and y1 is that 2. So let's write it. So we'll get y minus y1, but y1 is 2, equals m, but m is 3 in this case, times the quantity x minus x1. And x1, that's that 3 right there. So we'll write a 3. Okay, now we can simplify this, just multiply through. So we'll get y minus 2 equals 3x minus 9. We can solve for y if we just add 2. So here's our equation in slope-intercept form. Y equals 3x, and then negative 9 plus 2 is negative 7. In number 17, let's write number 17 here. Here's what we're given. We're given that the line passes through this point and has slope 7, so we're going to go through this point, 5 and negative 2, and the slope is 7. So again, we're going to use this form right here, y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 with, all right, now let's see, what do we need here? We need y1, m, and x1. So here's what we have. With m equal to 7, x1 equal to 5, and y1 equals negative 2. Make sense? M is 7. Okay, m is 7. x1 is 5, and y1 is negative 2. So let's just substitute these numbers into that template, and we will get y minus the first y. Now be careful, it's a negative. Y minus negative 2 is equal to m, which is 7, times x minus the first x, which is 5. So here we'll get y plus 2 equals, multiply through, 7x minus 35. And now let's subtract that 2. So we'll get y equals 7x. Now negative 35 minus 2 is negative 37. On 18, we're given that the line passes through this point with slope 0. Now, here's what we know, right? We know that lines with 0 slope are horizontal lines. And horizontal lines pass somewhere through the y-axis, right? If that's the y-axis, the horizontal line passes through that point. Now, where is that? Well, take a look at what we have up here. That y value is negative 2. So we could do this one directly if we can see that. So we could just write y equals negative 2. Now, if you don't see that, then let's use our point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1 with m equal to, okay, I'm going to write it up here now. M is equal to 0. That point right there is the x1, and that point there is the y1. So we're going to use this form here with m equal to 0, x1 equal to 5, y1 equal to negative 2. Let's substitute these values into that template. So we will get y minus y1. Now y1 is at negative 2, so remember it's a negative we got here. Y minus negative 2 equals m, which is 0 times x minus x1, and x1 is 5. But you know, 0 times any number is 0. So over here, we're going to get y plus 2 equals 0. And if we solve for y, we'll subtract 2, we'll get y equals negative 2. And that's exactly what we got up here if we were able to see through all these words. Now, in problem 19, we're given that the line passes through that point, but now the slope is, I don't want to write equals. I want to write slope is undefined. Now, I have to know this. The slope is undefined. So that means that I cannot use this form right here, right? We cannot use this form because what do you write here? There's nothing to write there. So this form only works for non-vertical lines. And vertical lines have undefined slope. So what I know is that this line is vertical. And if it's vertical, that means it passes through the x-axis. Okay, there's the line that passes through the x-axis. And where does it pass through? Well, it's going to pass through right there. So since it's passing through x, x is 5. All right, so there's the equation. X is 5. So look what we have here. Vertical lines have x. Back over here, horizontal lines have y.